How are you friends? Good evening from Mexico. On this occasion we are going to record a very special video in which we are going to be working with our IC-705 radio. This radio is a Japanese version that I acquired through eBay and as you know, this radio has some closed bands, so I have given myself the task of researching how to open those bands. Since there is no information on the internet to open the bands of this model, we can find information about how the bands are opened for the European version and also for the American version, but the Japanese version, unfortunately, until now it seems that it has not been able to be opened. So doing some research, I have come to the conclusion of how to open it, and in this video we are going to record the entire process to share it with you and everyone who is interested in acquiring this radio in its Japanese version. Well, this methodology, this technique is known as Mars mode. That term Mars mode refers to a specific modification made to the radio equipment called transceivers to allow its use in the Mars system. This is a Mars Sun, or an acronym for a military auxiliary radio system, so that's where the acronym Mars comes from, which is also known as Mars mode in Spanish and this Mars mode is used in the United States so that licensed rationists can provide help to military communications and necessary when there is some type of emergency. The Mars mode modification generally involves programming adjustments in the frequency limits of the transceiver to allow operation of the bands at frequencies authorized by this Mars mode. This modification is also often it makes for in our case to be able to use the bands that here in Mexico we need to occupy. I also tell you that with this method of Mars mode or Mars mode, we will also be able to use the frequencies of the civil band in this ICOM, so it is important, friends, to highlight that making unauthorized modifications to radio equipment may breach telecommunications regulations and amateur radio license conditions, so it is crucial to follow regulations and obtain appropriate authorization to make changes to your equipment and adapt it to your specific use. Well, then we are going to do it because, well, it is a necessity. So also there in the configuration I have investigated a little and I see that this configuration of adjusting the bands can be done in a section of the operating system or firmware that has this radio. Then you can adjust the frequency ranges, as I said, in the US version, in the European version, but in the Japanese version apparently it is not possible. I have been seeing some users on Reddit who have a radio like this, and they have done some modifications. For example, there is a user who asks if it can be modified, then another user answers that it does not, send it to a Japanese page which I was reading with the help of a translator, and then what the Japanese user does is simply open the bands, but for RX, that is, to listen to nothing else to receive, and this user opens the bands. It seems to me that up to 200, I don't know, I don't remember if up to 200 Megahertz A. I don't remember well how he does it, so this modification is the same. Although no, I remember it. It doesn't matter because we are not going to make this modification, and I also saw another user who managed to open the bands except the 11 meters band in which, as I mentioned, this is the civil band, A this one, and I see another user that this one does a modification in which it also opens all the bands. However, the 11 meters band only managed to open part of it. So in this modification, what are we going to do? According to what I have been reviewing, we are going to be able to open the civil band completely. That is, the 27 MHz we are going to open them completely, and the configurations that I am going to present here in this video are different from the ones that you can find on the internet, mainly on the internet, which is the ones that I have seen. They are different, so I can comment again that the Japanese version is much more limited than the European version or the American version. If we buy an American or European radio, then we would have no problem operating it here in Mexico, and it seems to me that in Latin America, there would be no problem. Also another thing that apart from this of mentioning the Reddit users who were making these changes, there are also some internet pages in which you can see the modification well, which is important because it teaches us how to open this, where to modify, although the configuration that we are going to use is different. So this one in this case, I already have a video made, so that also if you don't know how to open the radio, this video you can review it. I'm going to put it here in the comment box. I don't know if it's from this side or this side, but we are going to put it in the comments box so that you can review this video on how to open your icon if you have one or are interested in acquiring one. And well, after reading a lot of research on the internet and reviewing the manuals of the plate we came to the conclusion that it is possible to open this radio, at least in the HF part, and with the limitation of VHF. More than anything, VHF, in which we only reached it. Seems good to me. I don't remember right now. I don't remember in HF we can open the bands, so this radio, well, this ICOM is portable transceiver. This presentation is designed for radio amateurs. A light compact device offers a wide range of functions and capabilities in a very portable format, as you can see, and one of the key features of this radio is that it is a radio that uses a SDR technology, which is software-defined radio, and these frequency bands that this radio covers are HF up to UHF, which allows the operation of various amateur radio bands including 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. In this case, the 2 meters band does have some limitations for us. If you are interested in purchasing a Japanese radio, then you will come across this for me. There is no problem because I have another radio that I will be using once I have my amateur radio amateur license for UHF and VHF. So what interests me a little more is the HF and the digital modes, which with the opening of bands I think I will be able to operate without. There is no problem with this device because it offers an output power of 5W with the battery included here, and with the power supply there are 10. But you can also put a power amplifier so that our radio can reach. What I have seen is that there are 40 watts, 50W and up to 100W of power for this radio, so those amplifiers are quite powerful. If someone maybe looks for it for reasons of portability, then this radio is an excellent option. In comparison of other radios that are much larger, this radio incorporates Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, it has a built-in GPS, and it also has a touchscreen. Which is something interesting about this radio. In other words, the Icon IC-705 is a versatile and powerful portable transceiver that offers to radio amateurs a wide range for various operational situations. Now, what would be the reason for Pod to buy us a radio? An IC-705A in its Japanese version. If we are going to get into many problems and complications, well, in the unboxing of this radio I mentioned the reason why I acquired the Japanese version. I am going to summarize again in this video a little bit. What was the reason why I did it, and this is very particular to my case. And it surely applies to Mexico and also applies to Latin America. It is difficult to acquire a radio of this type here in Mexico. I couldn't buy it in the United States because my first option was obviously to buy in the United States. I was planning to modify the Mars mode to be able to open the bands, the civil band, the 11 Met band, because since right now I don't have a license, the only way I can transmit is through the civil band, in which no license is required. So with the opening of bands I will be able to do it. So when I acquired the radio I was thinking of buying the American version, however I wanted to make the modification and then start using the civil band in which I got my amateur radio license. But well, then I couldn't buy it. I had problems with the shipping methods, and I also had problems with payment methods. Also, another thing that encouraged me to buy it is the price. The price on eBay is much cheaper. Almost half this device is sold on eBay compared to what it costs in the sites in the United States. For example, in the United States, the price was $500 because I had to pay for shipping. So on the pages that I reviewed, this was not free international shipping, that is, only free shipping in the United States, and it seems to me that they also sent to Canada free, but to Mexico it was not free shipping, and they already increased me there by more or less like 50 or 20,000 there. I don't remember very well the joke that the price was around there at 00, which is a considerable amount. So this is for that reason I also decided to buy from him. Apart from this price of $15,500, I also had to pay the customs fees. So I don't know how much they were going to charge me for customs fees, and well, then I checked 3 pages on the internet to buy Amazon, of course. Hey, well, this is an online store, but well, Amazon doesn't send this radio here, but there is Gigaparts, which is this website which I am going to put here in the description. So you want to review it. I had problems with the payment method, so I checked with several cards. This Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and none of them passed. I bounced him off when I charged them, but they gave me a return of the money, and I tried several times. Then later on I decided not to buy there. In Gigaparts, there is another one called DX-Engine.com. This page does not ship to Mexico because since this transceiver has a battery, so this one there is well, they explained to me that because of the battery, they cannot not send the airway this radio to Mexico. And the other page that I considered, on which I was going to buy, is Ham Radio Outlet, the one in which you make the purchase. Well, I made the purchase more or less. It came out the same 00 with everything and shipping. But they assign you a seller, so the seller has to contact you and to date. Well, no, I don't. He contacted me. It's been a while since I bought it last year, and the seller didn't contact me, so I couldn't Buy and AA also. I explored the option of buying in Mexico, but in Mexico the price of this radio is too much high. $2,300, approximately $2,300, $2,500 approximately, so it is something that is very expensive or very, very expensive, and then obviously I decided not to buy in Mexico. I decided to make the purchase through eBay, and I think it was the best option. For me at least. I don't regret it having bought it on eBay and this one, and well, if anyone wants to buy on eBay, I can tell you that the price really surpasses all of them. It surpasses all of the other stores, because I found it more or less around $850 or so, from $00 to $850, or from $200 to $850. It's really very economical. The shipping was fast. In 5 days after I made the payment, it also arrived. It had a 1-month guarantee. The guarantee was already over because, well, obviously how it comes from Japan, because the warranty is short. But equally, if I had bought in the United States, the warranty would not be of much use to me, because if the equipment was damaged something, I would have to return it, and this is the true expense of sending and receiving and so on. And well, also another thing is that with the Mars mode or the Mars mode, this guarantee is lost. So any radio that you buy is European or American, Japanese, and you plan to do the Mars mode, then well, the guarantee is lost. And well, also another thing that I liked it. The eBay seller had a free return in case the equipment arrived damaged. In other words, if it arrived damaged, if within a month it was damaged or something, I could return it and they would refund my money except for customs fees. Obviously also the seller paid the return shipping, so well, it seemed to me it seemed the best. And yes, indeed, without any problem. Well, now I am going to present to you the plate for this. I have already opened the radio, as I mentioned. There is a video on the internet which I put up here so that you can see it in case you don't know how to open this radio. And well, I took photos of the plate before we proceed to this. I have already opened this several times. I opened it to take photos. I also opened it to measure tweezers to check this tools right to do this. Then well, these photos now serve me now to be able to share them with you. And well, I'm going to share here my screen. Let's share my screen here. Let's see, here we have the screen, and well, this is the original plate, the part that we want to edit. Well, it is here. So basically this is the part that we are going to be editing. There are these that are here. They are diodes according to the technical manual of the board. These are diodes which fulfill the function of allowing or restricting certain options in our transceiver. So this is the original board. And these are the diodes that we are going to use. Removing these diodes are the diodes AD921 and D935. As I mentioned on the internet, there are other configurations of how to do it. For me, this configuration is the best, not so much because I am going to do it, but because this is the one that opens all the bands in theory. Well, now we are going to check it, and well, this is what I am sharing with you here. I am also sharing the diagram of the modification. I have taken this diagram from this web page, which is here. We are going to put down here in the description box, so that if you want to review well, the diagram of the radio, well, we can work with Little more security, so here on this plate it shows how it should. Look here they're already removed the diodes. The 935 diode is already removed here and here also, so you can base on this image to be able to make the change in your radio. So let's go to the modification. Let's modify this A. Music. Well, not without first I want to. Do I want to make a disclaimer? I want to tell you that the information provided in this V is for general information purposes and should not be considered as professional advice. So remember that we are fans of music radio to components. We are amateurs in a broad sense of the word, therefore the use of this information is under the responsibility of you, of the user, and any action you take based on this information will be carried out at your own risk. I am not responsible of any loss, damage or consequence that may arise either directly or indirectly from the use of the information provided. I recommend that you consult qualified professionals to obtain specific advice before making decisions based on this information. It is important to understand that the circumstances individuals may vary and the information presented may not be applicable in all cases, so the user is urged to exercise their own judgment and discretion when using this information that we are providing in this video. Also, if you were to find it in writing, likewise, that the same rule applies so well for the procedure. We are going to use a tool which I have already presented in another video, but basically a Phillips screwdriver to be able to disassemble the radio, this same one. If you have not seen how to disassemble it, you can see the video here that we put up here on this side or this side. I don't know where I'm going to put the comments box, and then you need a Phillips screwdriver to open your radio. You also need some pliers like these to be able to hold the diodes that you are going to remove, and this you need a soldering iron. It can be a normal pencil soldering iron, it can be a hot air station. I have a soldering iron, I have a hot air station, but in the end I decided to use these tweezers. So these tweezers are a soldering iron. It's a clamped soldering iron that has a regulator. Here I was using 355 GR Celis is what I have been using to do my tests with other plates that I have out there. This one before to open up, obviously to open to make a modification of the plate. This I was practicing with old cell phones that I have lying around, and now let's see how about that practice. This one I have also acquired. I have acquired a microscope with this one. We can connect it to the computer or a cell phone through this port. It has multiple ports. This microscope cost me very cheap, like 200 Mexican pesos, something like that. So it is very economical, and it works on the computer, it works on the cell phone. In this case I'm going to use a cell phone because my work table that I have over there, hey, I haven't put a computer on it. So I'm going to use the one on a cell phone, and the one on the cell phone is more than enough for me since I've already done tests with it. Some with some cell phone plates that I have there that are very old and broken. I already started to remove some diodes to practice, and also Lastly, use isopropyl alcohol for cleaning and brush this well. I use this toothbrush with this applique and then I clean it and let it evaporate. Some people use a special cloth to clean components, or others also use an IC-705. Then they spray the alcohol and with the help of an IC-705 they remove it. Surplus and the rest just evaporates, so well, let's go to the station. Let's move a little bit. Let's move a little bit. And I'm going to share my screen with you again so that you can see here. Well, here we have the plate we already have it. We are already here. It is transmitting through our microscope, so let's proceed to make the modification. Let's first look for the flux. Well, sorry, one of the things that I did and tell you is that we also use flux to make this modification. Surely, it can also be done without flux, but I recommend using flux. Let's take a drop. Let's see. There it is. Let's put the flux. Just a drop. Let's remove it. It's very hot. Let's see. Let's move. Now it's stuck. Let's try to remove it with the tweezers. Oh, it's very hard. So it seems like it's stuck. No, it can't be removed. Let's try to remove it again with the tweezers because it's the only one I have connected to. See there it seems that we have already removed it. There it is. Yes, perfect. So it was very clean. It was very clean. Let's move the plate now. Well, let me put it away now. We are going to move the plate. Let's move the plate to remove the diode. 921. So let's see, let's adjust it. Here it goes a little bit when using this microscope. There it is. There it is. Here it is. Okay, let's adjust it so that we can see the screen. Well, this one already has flux, so we already applied the flux to it. This at the beginning. We are going to bring back the tweezers. Well, this tweezer is a tweezer soldering iron. And there it is. We also remove it very cleanly. So there it is. We have already removed it. We are going to proceed to do the cleaning. We are going to apply this one. There a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Is the alcohol we've already sprayed. Now we're going to clean. Obviously, I'm spraying on the entire plate. Although you can't see it, you can only see a part, but I'm spraying the entire plate just like it was not seen a while ago. How did you put the flux? Because our microscope can only see a part, but we are applying it to the entire plate and it is clean. We are going to let it steam for a moment and we are going to cut the video so that we can let this one finish. Let's go. Let's close it, and now we'll return. Well, friends, we're here again. Here is the radio. I already closed it. We're going to do the litmus test, which is to turn it on to see if it turns on. It's already a profit. Ah yes, it turned on like that, it turned on, there it is, then it's turned on. Now we have to make a modification. If you realize, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. This in this part it says Texas. Here this part is dotted. Let's see, I am going to bring it a little closer to the camera. There it is, this part is dotted, this should be seen. Let's see, I'm going to go to one of the frequencies that is authorized, this one in 40. Let's see, let's look here for 40 meters and look for example here in 40. This range, yes it is authorized. If you notice, the Texas appears with a completely red line, but if I move a little bit the line looks dotted. This does not mean that our configuration has failed. What it means is that it's still an adjustment is required. So let's see, I'm going to put it here and I'm going to make the adjustment from let's make the adjustment. So the first thing we have to do is go to the menu. Once we get to the menu, we go to the part where it says settings. So let's see here perm, that is difficult to manipulate. Let's go to the part that says settings. This part that is here, we press it and go to the part that says function in English, and we are going to look for the part that says, let's see here, luau reverse. It should say be ed VIP. This part here, look to see this part here, the first band ed VIP. So in this part we have some options here and we are going to put it off ourselves. So we are going to put it off, and with this now it should work. Now with this I am going to get out, I'm going to get out, and if you realize this right. Now we have Texas, we have TX in our radio. So look, to do the test, all the Japanese radios, all the radios, Americans and Europeans, the 11 Met band is closed. So let's go to the 11 Met band that is around here at 27 MHz. Look, and if you notice, look, we have the TX in red. So I move it and we're in red, which means that we can also transmit in the 11 meters band, the civil band, in which we do not need a license. So I am going to put up a video right now in which I am going to show you how all the frequencies in a row are you can do TX with this one, with this configuration. So we can consider this one successful. We can consider it successful. Our AR modification, we can consider it successful. And well nothing too. Thank you for being here with me watching this video. To thank you, and this if you are interested in radio and want to buy a radio and well, it is difficult for you to buy this radio in the United States or in Europe. And you want to buy this and are willing to make the modification. Well, there it is. There is the way how we can do it. So please subscribe to my channel so that we can share with others this information that we are discovering, and that of course we are also sharing it in a free way for everyone. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. See you later.